Hey, this is Max here, and in this video I want to show you how you can create an evergreen newsletter with ActiveCampaign. So first I'm going to explain you the why of evergreen newsletters. So what is an evergreen newsletter and why is it actually better than a standard newsletter? And then we're going to dive into the how. So how can you implement this inside ActiveCampaign? So let's dive in. So first, the why. So what is the problem with a standard email newsletter? Now, I think there's actually two problems with it, or it's maybe not really a problem, but just like a downside. So the first problem is that you have to show up every single week, because most email newsletters are sent out weekly, some maybe even monthly. But I think creating new kick-ass content every single week can be quite hard, especially when you have like a deadline when you're going to send out emails on a certain day. So this can be a bit hard. Then the second problem of standard email newsletters is the new versus the basically veteran subscribers, like people who are just new in your list or people that are already on your list for a bit longer. So new subscribers, they need to get to know you, and like they want to hear your story. They want to know, who you are. While old subscribers maybe already know this. They probably already know who you are, what you stand for, why you do what you do, and they do not want to hear it over and over again. So I will show in a bit how we can tackle these problems with an evergreen newsletter. But first I want to explain a bit what it is, because maybe you're here and you're like, what's this guy talking about? What is an evergreen newsletter? Now, an evergreen newsletter is basically an automated version of a standard email newsletter. So instead of writing an email and sending it out to your whole list, we're going to create an automation of evergreen newsletters that we will be automatically sent out every single week at the same day and time. So you already wrote a few, you put them inside an automation, and they're going to be sent out. Now, the first benefit, which also tackles the first problem, is that by automating your newsletter, so by making it evergreen, that you get off the content treadmill. So you do not have to show up every single week, basically. So we automate it, we write them in advance, so you do not have to write new ones every single week. So when you're sick or maybe you're just on a holiday, people will still keep hearing from you consistently. And I think consistency in marketing is like really, really important. Now, the second one is a good first impression. So someone comes on your list. Are they just going to get a general newsletter that everyone is going to get? Or do they get some proper onboarding? Like they join your list and then they get a series of emails that is like right for new subscribers. So I, for example, like this format. This is what I use myself. So first I have some kind of welcome email. Maybe they just downloaded something, then I give them like a welcome inside that email. And if they just joined for the weekly newsletter, I have a separate email for that. And then the second email is basically how I want to help people, like what do I want for you? And then I usually also give like a cool gift inside that second email, something that's like really relevant, something that gives them like a quick win. And then in the third email, I want to give some big takeaways. So my emails are then titled like my 3 things I wish I would know, have known like 3 years ago, like something like that. So my biggest learnings. Now then the fourth email is about why I do what I do, so that people that are on my list, they actually know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then the emails after that are just valuable, relevant content over and over and over again. Now, how do you write these emails? So in a bit, I will show you how you can automate all these, how you can create an automation inside ActiveCampaign. But first, I want to show you how you can write them, because there is something with evergreen newsletters that you also have to write them in an evergreen way. So I have a few rules that I try to stick to myself. So for example, when you write an email, you have to think about, okay, when is someone going to receive this email? And because it's evergreen, you cannot really tell. So some people are maybe getting your newsletter in December. Some people are maybe getting your newsletter in June. So I would avoid talking about holidays. It's weird when you talk about Christmas when people receive your email in March or something. So I would try to avoid that. And then also, obviously, avoid mentioning months or maybe the weather. Like if you're talking about that it's like super snowy this month, like super bad weather, whatever, and someone then receives your email in summer, they will be like, huh, what are you talking about? Like weird. And you can also avoid talking about current news topics like elections or current events, things that are happening in the world right now. And I would also not link to articles like if you do not have to. So I would not have a newsletter that's only linking out to your articles, because then people are opening your email, they go to the article, and then it says there basically that your email is maybe 2 years old or like 1 year old, like the article. So I would always ask yourself this. So if someone received the email 1 year from now, will it still be relevant? And can they tell that you wrote this a long time ago? So if the answer is yes, like, will it still be relevant? And can they not tell that you wrote this a long time ago? Then I think you're good. And again, this is not to like trick people into believing that you just wrote this today. It's just to make it relevant. You do not want to send out any old emails. Now, then I want to dive into the how. So I think this is the most exciting part. I love nerding out on these things. So what we're going to do is we're going over to ActiveCampaign, and then we're going to set up an automation. After we've done that, I want to show you another cool trick that I absolutely think you should do, and that is resending newsletters to contacts who did not open an email. And then I have some other cool tips and tricks. So we're going to set up the automation. I will really show everything step by step, but I just wanted to let you know that the automation we're going to create, I will also put a link out to that in the description box below, so that you can just import this and change it to your own needs, so that you will save some time. So you can either just create your Evergreen newsletter automation with me, or you can just import that. Just go to the description box below. So let's get started. So you see here that I already created one, but we're going to create a new one. So what you want to do is you want to start from scratch and you want to continue. Then we have to give it a name. Let's wait for this page to load. All right, and I would name it something like Evergreen Newsletter, like that. And for now, we'll leave the start trigger just empty. So this is normally how people enter this automation, but depending on your setup, that's different. Maybe it's when someone receives a certain tag, when they give permission to receive emails, or when they just join any list. So what the first thing that you want to do is create a few emails. So you can just create them like this: send an email, create an email, and then my first email is called You're In. Now, then we create it. And then I'm going to use my main template. I will also put a link out to that in the description box below. You're In. It's basically just a really simple template so that it looks like I wrote the emails myself, instead of a really overly designed email newsletter that looks very business-y. This is how I prefer to send my emails. You can obviously send something different, but if you like this, then I will link out to that in the description box below. Now, then you have your email. Just write your emails the way you want them to, and then click Save and Exit. And then we're back in the automation. We click Save. And then you see that we created our first email. Now, then I will create a second one. We just do this process over and over again. So my second email will be something like, what did I say here? What I want for you. Now, let's do that. What I want for you, and then plus a cool gift. Now, something like that. Then we click Create. And then we use the main template again. We add the email subject. Maybe we change that later on, but for now this is fine. Continue. Then we click save. And then we have our second email. Now this is a bit of a slow process. We have to create these one by one, but after that we have those and then it will go a bit quicker. Now then we have our third email. The third email is my biggest learnings. Create new email. So what I do, 3 things I wish I knew years ago. That's the third email. You can obviously have different subjects. Click save. And then we have our third email. And then we're going to create a fourth email. And the fourth email will be called Why I Do What I Do. Create new email. And click create. Then we do this. Main template. Create a new email. And then we hit save. All right, okay, so now we have our 4 emails. So what we want to do is we want to send out these emails every Tuesday at 10 in the morning. So you can also change that, but that's just when I like to send my newsletters. So what you want to do is you want to create some weights in between these newsletters. So the first one we want to send right away. And then the second one, basically when it's Tuesday, 10 a.m. So what you want to do is you click this. You go to conditions and workflow, you click wait until specific conditions are met, and then we say current day of the week, and then I will do that in the contact's time zone. So this is especially handy if you have contacts in different time zones, then they will always get it when it's Tuesday, 10 a.m. in their time zone. So ActiveCampaign is tracking that. It's very handy, I think. So then we say is Tuesday. And then we add another condition, and current time, context time zone is 10 in the morning. Click save. And then we click save again. Now, and then you see that we have our first email, wait until, and then we'll send the next email. Now we're going to repeat that process. We're going to add some more of these wait untils. Click wait until, current day of the week is Tuesday, and current time is 10 a.m. Click OK, click save. Now quickly do that again. Wait until, current day of the week is Tuesday, and current time is 10 a.m. Click save. And then I will also add one for the last one. Current day of the week, context time zone is Tuesday, and current time is 10 a.m. All right. So right now we have our emails and the weights in between. But there's something very important that we have to do, and it is add even more waiting time in between. Because if you would have it set up like this, it would send the first email, it will wait till Tuesday 10 a.m., and then it will send all the emails at once. Now, why does it do that? Because it's going to wait until Tuesday 10 a.m., it will send the email, and then a second later, it will go into the same condition again, basically. And then it is still Tuesday 10 a.m. So it will send an email. And then again, it's still Tuesday 10 a.m. So it's very important that we add more waiting time in between. So what I like to do is I like to add 2 days. And then we add 2 days again. And by doing that, that can never happen. So it will send an email. It will wait 2 days. And then it's going to wait until Tuesday 10 a.m. So I'll do that here again. And that's basically how an evergreen newsletter could be set up. Like this, it's already almost perfect. It's working. But one thing I want to show you, and I also just talked about that, is that I want to resend newsletters to contacts who are not opening them. So this is like a really great strategy to basically boost your open rates. So I usually see a 20 to 30% open rate for the emails that I'm resending. So we have these emails, and if they, for example, do not open this email, we want to resend the email with a different subject 2 days later. So what I'm going to do is, after this 2-day delay, so that's already there, so that's also handy, we're going to add a new email, send an email, create a new email, and then I will call it resend you're in. So do not confuse this with the email subject. This is just the email name inside the automation. This is not visible to your contacts. So I just like to use the name of the thing before, and then between brackets I name it resend, just so that it's clear, like this is an email that we're going to resend. So then I click create, and then what you want to do, instead of creating a whole new email and like copying the whole thing, you can go to past campaigns, and there you can select the email that you added to your automation before. So then I would say use this template, and then I give it a different subject. I would say welcome, and then it would say welcome Max in lower capitals. So we say continue, and then it will create the email based on our previous email. So I'm just using these like dummy text, so they're all looking the same, but if you would have a different email in there, then we'll just copy that right in here. Now, then we're going to click save and exit. So then we go back to our automation. And then what we have to do is we have to make sure that people who open this email are not getting this one, right? So like this, it would just send the email, wait 2 days, and send it again. So to do that, we can do two different things. So after the 2 days, we could either add an if else, and then we could just check, okay, did that person open, yes or no? If they did not open, we go to this email. If they did open, we just continue and go into the wait until Tuesday 10 a.m. But I found that with Evergreen newsletters, these automations can get quite long, like especially if you're adding more and more and more emails. And with the if else, it always gets a bit messy. So what I really like to do with automation like this is that I add goals. So what you want to do, you go here, you click goal, and then you call it opened email. Then you leave this as is, like it should be below the context position. Then it should not trigger any conversion if you do not want to. And if it does not meet the goal, just continue anyway. And then we click to add a goal. And then we can select something that if that happens, that person jumps in the automation to the goal. So if we say here, has opened, and then we say here, you're in. So if this person has opened the email you're in, they will jump to this goal. So what happens now is we send this email, we wait for 2 days, and if during those 2 days that person is opening that email, they will just skip this email and automatically jump here to the goal. So it will not send a resend email. And if they did not open the email within 2 days, the resend email will be sent. So we're going to do that again for these emails. So we're going to add a new email. We say here, create new email, and we call it resend what I want for you plus a cool gift. Create. All right, then we go to past campaigns, remember? And then we click use this template. And then we give it a different subject. So you obviously have to think well about that. Like, okay, what's going to get the most opens? So for this email, I would say, what should I name it? What I want for you. What could you make out of that? What I want for you. A cool gift. Now we just turn it around. Something like that. Continue. Now then it's going to create the email again based on the previous email. We click save and exit. Now, then we have to wait until ActiveCampaign created this. Then we click save. And then we have to add a goal again. So the goal should always be after the resend. Goal, opened email, click to add a goal. And then we say has opened. And then we have to select our email, what I want for you. Save, click save. And then we already have this done for basically 2 weeks. Now, then we just do it again. 3 things I wish I knew years ago. Create new email. Resend. 3 things I wish I knew years ago. So we're just doing this over and over again for every email. So where is this email that we're creating? Where is it? Here. Okay, and then I will call it my biggest learnings. Then we click continue. And then we click save. Now, and then you can probably already guess what we're going to do next. We're going to add another goal. Goal has opened. Click to add a goal. Has opened. And then we say, okay, has opened. 3 things I knew wish years ago. And then we click save. Save. Now, and then we do it one last time. We create an email. We say here, create a new email. And then we do resend. Why I do what I do. Create. Then we go again to past campaigns. We select our old email, basically the original email, and we give it a different subject. Why I care. That's the new title. Continue. Then we click save again. And then we click save here. Now, and then our automation is already slowly coming to an end. So we say here, goal has opened. Click to add a goal. Has opened. Why I do what I do. And then we click save. And that's it. So this is our Evergreen newsletter automation. So we first send our welcome email. We wait for 2 days. And if during that time they do not open the welcome email, we resend it again. Now, if they opened it, they will jump automatically to that goal. Then we wait until the current day of the week is Tuesday and the current time is 10 in the morning, and then we send our first week. Now, after that, we wait 2 days. Do they not open the email, then this email will be sent. Did they open the email, then it will automatically jump to the goal. So this is our automation. Now, a few other things that we can do that I want to show you. So some extra tips and tricks. So what you could do is you could skip the welcome email if you already sent another email. So for example, when somebody is downloading something for me, like a lead magnet or a content upgrade, then inside that email, I'll basically already give them like a little welcome, like thanks for joining the list, here's your download. So I do not really want to send that again. So I know that I always do that. So what I want to do, if the contact has been sent any campaign, so basically any email, I want to skip this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert an if else for this. And I just say, has been sent any campaign. Add. And then we have to create our path. So, has been sent any campaign. Now, what I want to do is I want to drag this over here. All right. So, if they have been sent any campaign, I want to skip this email. Now, you can do this very easily. They follow the yes path. And then we insert a go to. And then we go to... let me scroll down. Wait until the current day of the week is Tuesday, 10 a.m. So it will just skip this little welcome part, basically. Now, then the second trick I have for you is to add a little 100-year wait to the end of your automation, because that way people will not exit the automation if you're still in the process of adding new newsletters. So like this, you could just create like a new week basically. You create like your email, your 2-day wait, your email and your goal, and then again this. And then you would just change this to 5 minutes. Oh, let me click this. 5 or 6, 5 minutes, and then it will just continue inside that automation. Just be sure to always add another 100-year automation at the end. So it's totally fine if you just start your Evergreen newsletter out with like 4 or 5 emails, and then you can just add new newsletters along the way. Now, then another trick I want to show you is to kick people off your list as soon as they did not open 10 emails in a row. So I do not want to go too deep in this. I also have a separate tutorial for this. But basically what I want to share is that if people are not opening your Evergreen newsletters ever, you want to kick them off your list. So what I created is I created a custom field called engagement threshold. Let me go over to the fields. You see here that I have a custom field here, engagement threshold. And then every time before I send out an email, I increase the engagement threshold by 1. So you would just do that. Oh, now, yeah. Oh, now we have even 2. No, that's handy. Then we can also do it there. So you would just add that before every email that you send. And then you would have to create a separate automation that is resetting the engagement threshold to 0 as soon as they opened an email. And you have to create another automation that when this custom field reaches 10, so if they ignored 10 emails in a row, then you would want to automatically unsubscribe them. Now, that's basically this tutorial. So yeah, it was quite a thing. We've been building quite a lot. So again, Evergreen newsletters are like a really great way to keep contacts constantly and consistently engaged without having to pump out new content every week. And now you know that it's also not too hard to set this up. So you just have your automation, you have an email, you wait for 2 days, you send the resend, and then you have a goal that is skipping the resend if they open the first email, and then you use wait until to send them at the right day and time. So yeah, that was it. That's the tutorial. So again, the example automation you'll find in the description box below. If you like this tutorial, give it a little thumbs up. That really helps me. And if you want to see more marketing automation tutorials, then consider subscribing. Okay, if you have any questions, just let me know. Have a great day.